Things I wish I knew before dressing modestly. Hi, I'm Devora and welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, then welcome. On this channel, we talk about modest fashion, modest dressing, comfort, confidence, and building a wardrobe that actually works for real life. And today I want to talk about something a little more personal. I thought it would be interesting to share some of the things I wish I had known before I started dressing modestly. When you first start exploring modest fashion, you might think it's just about longer skirts or higher necklines. But over time, you will realize it's actually about a lot more than that. There are things that become easier. There are things that take time to get used to. And there are definitely things that nobody tells you at the beginning. So today, I'm sharing a few things I wish I knew before dressing modestly. Number one, modest dressing doesn't mean boring. One of the biggest misconceptions people have about modest fashion is that it's boring. Before I really understood modest dressing, I assumed that dressing modestly meant giving up style or creativity. But that's not actually true. What I eventually realized is that modest fashion just shifts the focus. Instead of relying on very revealing silhouettes, you start thinking about things like the fabric, the structure, the color combinations, the layers, and proportions. And once you start paying more attention to those elements, you realize there are actually many ways to create beautiful outfits while still dressing modestly. It just requires a slightly different approach. Number two, it takes time to build a modest wardrobe. Another thing I wish I had known earlier is that building a modest wardrobe takes time. When you first start dressing modestly, you might feel like nothing in your closet works. Of course. Or you just might feel like suddenly you need to replace everything. But the truth is that wardrobes evolve slowly. You start discovering pieces that work for you. You figure out what silhouettes you like. You learn which fabrics are comfortable. And over time, your wardrobe begins to feel more cohesive. It's not something that happens overnight. And honestly, that's okay. Number three, layers become your best friends. Another thing I definitely didn't fully appreciate at the beginning is how important layers are. Layers are incredibly useful in modest fashion. They allow you to take pieces that might not be modest on their own and make them work. A layering top can completely transform an outfit. A cardigan can change the structure of a look. A light jacket can add coverage while adding style. First, layering might feel like extra effort, but eventually it becomes a second nature. And you start to see how versatile your wardrobe can be. Number four, shopping requires a little more patience. One thing that definitely surprised me is that shopping can require a bit more patience when you dress modestly. You walk into stores and sometimes you see something beautiful, but it just might not quite work. Maybe the neckline is too low, maybe the length is too short, maybe the fabric is too sheer. So you learn to look at clothing a little differently. Instead of asking, do I like this? You start asking, can this work for me? Sometimes the answer is yes, sometimes it's not. But over time, you develop a better sense of what to look for. Number five, comfort becomes much more important. Another thing I learned is that comfort becomes much more important when you dress modestly. When clothing covers more of your body, you become very aware of the fabric and the fit. You notice when something doesn't breathe well. You'll notice when something feels restrictive. And you will also notice when something feels incredibly comfortable. over time, you start choosing clothing that allows you to move freely and feel relaxed throughout the day. And that kind of comfort actually builds confidence. Number 6, modesty is very personal. One of the most important things that I learned is that modesty looks different for everyone. There isn't one single definition. For some women, modesty is connected to religion. For others, it's about comfort. For others, it's about personal values or lifestyle. And that's okay. Modesty is not about fitting into someone else's standard. It's about choosing clothing that aligns with who you are. So those are just a few things that I wish I had known earlier about dressing modestly. Some of them are practical, some of them are just mindset shifts, but all of them are part of the experience of building a wardrobe that feels comfortable and authentic. I'd love to hear from you. If you dress modesty, what is something you wish you had known earlier? Leave it in the comments. I always enjoy hearing your perspectives. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it, subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.